How's it going, guys? Hope you guys are having a great week. So I'm back today with a video, guys. So I did say today that I was gonna actually upload my first impressions on the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, which came out a couple of days ago when I was actually on holiday in London. I have played this demo inside out, back to front, and I've played it about 3 or 4 times now. Every single nook and cranny of this demo, and today I want to actually give my first impressions of it and what I generally thought of it, and also my thoughts going into the release of the remake, which is set to come out on the 10th of April. Well, I've got to say that having played the demo, I was absolutely blown away by the demo and by the game, which looks absolutely incredibly. First off, I've got to say that Final Fantasy VII Remake is looking beautiful. It's looking almost movie quality cinematics. The animation is fabulous. The graphics look incredible, and Midgard has been created in perfect, realistic sort of 3D movie quality rendering. It looks amazing. For a fan of the original Final Fantasy VII, and for people that have played the original game, this must be a dream come true to see such a fan loved game, characters and world brought to life in such beautiful clarity and quality. The game, in terms of its looks and its style, it very much reminds me of Final Fantasy Advent Children, which was a really good CGI Final Fantasy movie. It's really good. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. But the game for me very much felt like that. It felt like playing a movie, and one of the reasons for that was just simply the fluid way in which cutscenes almost seemed to seamlessly blend into gameplay. It reminded me heavily of God of War in the way that the direction and the cinematography was used and the camera was used in such a way that it did do that you had very clear cutscenes that are skippable, which is quite nice when you're playing the demo a second, third or fourth time. But it was really great to see that blend so seamlessly into gameplay. The music as well in the demo was just absolutely incredible. It was beautiful. The music in Final Fantasy VII is great, but it was really good to see it kind of updated for kind of the new modern era, and it was just movie score level of quality. It was epically big and grand and beautiful, and God, I cannot wait to play the game when it comes out. The musical score is going to be absolutely incredible, and I'm really looking forward to it. So the style and looks of the game, it looks incredible. The lighting for Midgar, the first scene where you see Midgar and the camera pans out and you see the scale and size of the city, and you see the huge factory and industrial plant in the center, which is just massive and hulking, and you see the scale of it, and it just looks absolutely incredible. It looks really good, as does the atmosphere and the lighting, and it's great. The demo obviously tells the first mission in Final Fantasy VII, which is the Mako reactor level. It retells that was actually the level that was included in the original demo for the original Final Fantasy VII, which came out I think in 1997. That's how old this game is, and it just looks incredible, and it was a perfect choice for them to choose the demo to be the first level in the game. It really sets the tone, it sets the look and the visual style of the game, and it's got me incredibly excited. I really enjoyed seeing all the characters. The voice acting in the demo was top notch, was really good, and it was really great to hear them actually voice acted and not just sort of read font and character text like you had to do in the original game. It's really cool to actually hear Barrett and Cloud voice acted, and Barrett just sounds exactly how I imagined it. It looks really awesome. We didn't get to hear the Japanese soundtrack. That wasn't available in the demo, so I didn't really get to see how it differed between the English soundtrack and the Japanese soundtrack. Hopefully the Japanese soundtrack will be available as well in the main game when it is released with English subtitles. I hope that is an option, because I always like to have that option when it comes to Japanese RPGs. I like the ability to choose whether I want to play it in English or in Japanese, and I kind of wanted to check out the Japanese voice acting so I could get a sense of which one I preferred before I actually jumped in to the main game, which comes out on the 10th of April. So obviously it wasn't available in the demo, which does make me a little bit sad, so I'm obviously going to have to research and look up the Japanese demo online. There are a lot of YouTube videos and YouTubers, Japanese YouTubers, that have obviously uploaded the Japanese version of the demo, so I'm going to have to check that out. Obviously I'm not going to have a clue what they're saying because it's going to be all Japanese subtitles, and while I do speak a little bit of Japanese, it's not quite as good that I can fully understand every word that they're saying, but I definitely want to check it out to see how it actually sounds and which one I'm going to go for. But I thought the voice acting was really good. I loved how they fleshed out some of these side characters a little bit more in the demo. So I loved the way they fleshed out Jesse and Wedge and Biggs, and we got to see a lot more personality from them. It was really cool, you know, even Jesse kind of flirting with Cloud and the interactions between them, and they seem to have a lot more character, a lot more personality, and developers have said that. They said that they are wanting to flesh out some of these side characters that maybe didn't get as much attention in the original release of the game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. So I really enjoyed that. Even in this demo, you know, I already gelled a lot with the characters in there. They're all incredibly likable, they're all very different, and that's one of the things that I think Final Fantasy VII's got going for it. It has a brilliant story, a great cast of characters, and it's one of the things that I think Final Fantasy has been weak on most recently, with Final Fantasy XIV being the exception. I hear that has some great storytelling and character development, but Final Fantasy XV for me was very weak in terms of its character representation, its character development, and its storytelling. I thought that was one of its biggest weaknesses, and I just didn't find the main cast, the main characters, particularly likable. It was kind of like a boy band on a road trip. I didn't find Noctis really that likable or engaging, so I'm really looking forward to Final Fantasy VII and getting that fixed there. And I know for many people Final Fantasy VII is actually considered to be their favorite or best of the Final Fantasy games, so I'm really looking forward to jumping in and checking it out. I thought the voice acting, cinematography, animation, the graphics were beautiful. Let's now talk about the gameplay, obviously, because that's one of the main reasons that we jumped in to check out the demo, and it was one of the things that we were most interested in, because obviously the Final Fantasy VII Remake is a massive departure from the original game. The original Final Fantasy VII was a turn-based RPG, so the combat was a lot slower, it was a lot more calculated and a lot more tactical. It isn't that in the remake, so the combat is more real-time combat, very much more along the lines of Final Fantasy 15. So it is in real time. You do hit certain button prompts to attack. Obviously Cloud's got his Buster Sword, and he has two particular styles of combat that he can use, one of which is called Operator, which is a lot quicker, and then one of which is called Punisher, which is a lot hard hitting, heavier. You can block attacks, and you know, the general idea of it is to build up and pressure the enemy until eventually you fill up a bar, and the aim is to stagger them and to build up your ATB gauge, which you can then use to unleash abilities and magic and spells, grenades, and so on. That is the aim of it, but the combat was definitely a lot faster paced than what I was expecting, and a little bit frenetic initially to start with. It did take a little bit of getting used to. I often forgot to block because I'm not used to that, and obviously you can dodge and roll as well, and dodge out of the way. So I wasn't used to it, and it also took a little bit of getting used to in terms of managing your combat and managing your ATB gauge, because you also have to use this gauge which fills as you attack and block and take damage. That bar will fill, but you also use it to take potions and to heal your allies and yourself. So you do have to really choose when to use it. Of course, most of the combat is in real time, but you can actually slow down combat by selecting into the commands menu, and that will allow you to actually select from a variety of abilities and then choose which target you're wanting to attack. So in that way it felt a little bit like Mass Effect or Dragon Age, where you are pressing that button to slow down time and then choosing what moves you want to set up. And you can also switch between different party members and give them prompts as well and tell them to attack certain enemies. So it is a little bit of micromanaging in that way. You can also switch quite nicely and cleanly to a different character. So there is one bit in the demo where Barrett actually joins your team, and obviously he is able to take out enemies that are out of range of Cloud's sword, so they're higher up, and obviously you can use his cannon and machine gun to actually take those out. He's much more of a ranged attacker. So it's about choosing your allies and choosing when to use them. I actually really enjoyed the combat. I don't mind turn-based combat. I have played many games with turn-based combat in it. I really enjoyed, for example, Fire Emblem Three Houses game, which is a turn-based combat video game, and I really enjoyed it, and I do enjoy the tactical nature of that. But I've got to say, I really enjoyed the combat in Final Fantasy VII. The boss fight particularly felt challenging. It felt very exciting. It was fun to use. It took a little bit of getting used to, but after a while, once you get used to balancing your own moves and obviously your allies as well, then obviously it does open up and give you a lot more options. There is also a mode which is called Classic Mode. Now, I actually thought that this was going to be where you would actually just go back to using turn-based combat, and it would be much more similar to the original Final Fantasy VII. It isn't really like that. Classic Mode basically, I guess in a way, is an easier way of playing the game and an easier way of handling combat. So the basic combat, everything is on autopilot. So Cloud will automatically attack enemies. You can tell him to target a particular enemy, but he will automatically attack and block, and then it's you who then controls the ATB gauge, and when it's available you will then queue up certain abilities for him to use and to target. So it allows you to focus much more on your ATB gauge and maybe be a little bit more tactical without worrying about micromanaging your character throughout the combat. It does make it a lot easier. The classic mode is also only available in the demo on easy mode. So for me, while I did definitely check it out and jump in and try it, it was just too easy for me. There was no challenge for me there in using classic mode. So it might be a mode maybe that's good for people that are generally wanting to play the game predominantly for the RPG elements and also the storytelling, and maybe want the combat to be a little bit easier. Then classic mode might be better for those types of gamers. But if you enjoy a little bit more of a challenge, and like me, it might be too easy for you, then obviously normal mode might be the way to go. But yeah, the turn-based combat is definitely no longer exists in the remake, and I'm okay with that. I actually really enjoyed it, and as I played through the demo for the second and third time, that's when I really started to get to grips with the combat and really started to see how they are wanting you to jump between characters and manage your ATB gauge and your attacks and choose when to use certain abilities and when to hold off to save for a big move. We also got to see Cloud's cross slash, which was really cool. It was great. There was a couple of limit break moves that you could do for Cloud and also for Barret, which were pretty badass and were really fun to use and to implement. So I really enjoyed it. So overall, I thought the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo was fabulous. Really enjoyed my experience with it, and it's made me more excited to jump in and play the game when it comes out on the 10th of April. If you haven't picked up and played the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, I highly recommend that you download it, jump in and play it, if not just to get familiar with the combat and the new game mechanics obviously that have been introduced. And I'm sure, like me, once you play it, you will be as excited as I am to jump in and check out this game. So have you played the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo? What did you think of the demo? What was your experience with it? And what are your thoughts on the normal mode versus the classic mode? Which do you prefer, or do you actually prefer the original turn-based combat that was in the original Final Fantasy VII, which came out back in 1997? Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on the game and on the demo, and yeah, I look forward to reading those comments. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thank you for your comments recently with regards to the scam that happened recently with my birthday game giveaway. The outpouring of support has just been absolutely incredible and really moving, and I am incredibly blessed to have such a wonderful, positive and supportive community. And I don't mean that just in terms of you guys supporting me, but I mean that also in terms of you guys supporting each other. It was really amazing to see so many people support Sahil in that situation. And I even had one of my subscribers, James Wells, who was incredibly generous and actually donated $60 to the channel. So thank you so much, James, for that. I really appreciate it. And with that money, I was able to then go ahead and arrange with Sahil to actually get him Death Stranding, which he won in the game giveaway competition. And I am pleased to announce that I was able to order it through Amazon, and it will be with Sahil on Thursday, and he's going to let me know when he gets the game and when he picks it up and he plays it. So I'm really looking forward to hearing that from him. So I just want to say again a massive thank you for supporting the channel, for continuing to be awesome. It's an incredible community that we've built here, and I hope we can continue to build it in the future. Obviously, if you want to support the channel, there's many ways that you can do that. You can like the video, you can comment. Please remember to subscribe as well and hit the bell notification for updates on any future content that comes out as well. And if you want to do so and you can afford to do so, you don't have to, but if you would like to do so, you can also support the channel by becoming a member of my Patreon team or joining the channel and becoming a member here on YouTube. Here at the end of the video, here is a list of my Patreon followers at the moment. These are people that support the channel regularly, and I really appreciate all the support that they and yourselves can give. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a great week. Of course, I'll be back again. I finally finished Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I have finally finished it, so I will be jotting down my ideas and bringing out a very quick rapid review on that game for you guys soon. And then obviously Ori and the Will of the Wisps comes out tomorrow, and I will actually be live streaming that here on my channel on YouTube at 8 p.m. British time, so please look forward to that as well. Please drop by, say hello, watch the gameplay, comment, get involved. It'd be really great to see you there. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. Of course, take care, and as always, happy gaming. Bye guys.